Rest in peace, Wesley Shepard.
So I was doing some research for something in episode 3 before I watched it. And I came across something called the buddy system for working in laboratory settings. The buddy system is a safety measure taken where there's always two, like you always need to have a lab partner. There's the principal scientist and there's a lab partner.
Right.
We're trained in the buddy system in like middle school and high school. When we do science projects, they always have us get a lab partner first. I remember wondering at one point, why doesn't Walter just do this on his own? Like, why does he need Jesse? And the answer is that he's like chosen him as his buddy.
Yeah. There's this scientific method, and Walter is very meticulous about how he follows every step that you're supposed to as a scientist. It's just he doesn't allow anyone else to be a part of the decision-making process.
He like intentionally chose a partner who is completely incompetent.
Mm-hmm. So he can push him around. Yep.
You think that's it?
Yes.
So that he could bully him?
Yes. I think once Walter gets into the trade, he could, at more than one occasion in the show, wash his hands of Jesse Pinkman. Like, all right, well, we don't need to be associating with this meth addict anymore. And he continues to, because from episode 1, he is already exerting like this control over Jesse. Jesse, for real, when all this shit happens, he didn't kill anybody or anything. Like, everything that happens in episode 2, instead of going to get all the supplies that he needs to melt down Emilio, he could just go to the police and just be done. Yup, hey. He didn't do anything. What did Jesse do?
He cooked meth.
Okay.
Manufacturer of
meth or murder? You want to get caught cooking meth or melting a dude?
That is a good point. I'm not gonna fight you on that one. Life, Death, and Dope Boys. My name is Indi. I'm joined by Justin.
What up?
Please be prepared for spoilers for the entirety of Breaking Bad. We just watched episode 2, which is called
Cats in the Bag.
Cats in the Bag. I like the way that they name these episodes. Like, the titles are very interesting, and they're usually references to something. Mm-hmm. I think this is a reference to some sort of show or
a film
line
from the 50s. I mean, it's just a reference to the phrase "cat's out of the bag." It's the opposite. They put the cat in the bag.
They do, though. The cat is definitely in the bag.
I think that has way more sinister connotations too, because when I think like old cartoons and stuff, or they like, we've got extra pets, so we're gonna put them in this bag and throw them in the river. Didn't that happen in like 101 Dalmatians or some animated feature when we were children?
No way that happened in 101 Dalmatians.
That was something that happened when we were kids all the time. We've got too many pets. Let's take these 8 kittens and toss them in this bag and make this bag disappear.
In the river? Put that bag literally anywhere.
Cat's in the bag.
So, let's get into episode 2.
Life, Death, and Dope Boys. Episode 2. Dope Dealers KO.
So after having some intense lovemaking with Skylar, Walt gets up to freshen up in the bathroom. He takes a look at himself in the mirror, taking a moment to reflect. The scene then switches back to 12 hours earlier when Walt, with no pants on and Jesse sporting a black eye, hire a local backhoe operator to help him get the RV out of the ditch. And there's a couple things I like about this scene. In fact, there's a lot that I like about it. And the first thing that I noticed that Walter destroys the tape that he recorded on the camcorder.
Oh, yeah.
And I like that they put that in there just so that there's some continuity, because imagine rewatching Breaking Bad and seeing that tape and being like, I'm surprised nobody ever found that tape. And it gives it a little bit of continuity in the show.
Looking back, there are other times in the show where Walter leaves around evidence. that is just as incriminating as that he for some reason keeps around his house and stuff. And I don't understand why. Like sometimes Walter is very paranoid, but at the same time he has like no foresight. It's weird. He's so calculating, but somehow still has no foresight.
He's really good at coming up with a plan like right then and there. But it also shows like he was paranoid in the moment because, obviously you realize that it's just emergency vehicles responding to the brush fire. But he kind of like, it's almost like he's embarrassed as he's doing it. He's like kind of destroying it. Like, I fucking did this shit. Like I recorded this video and nothing was happening. Like Walter is a very impulsive dude. Mm-hmm. Once they managed to pull the RV out, the two of them agreed to call it quits on their criminal partnership right after they deal with the bodies of Emilio and Crazy 8. But just when Walter finally gets the engine of the RV running, they hear a rustling sound that makes them realize that one of the supposedly dead guys ain't actually dead.
You know what bothers me about the money being wet that I didn't realize at first?
What's that?
The money changes bags. It's in a plastic bag in the first episode, and then for some reason it gets wet and Walter has to dry it off, and then it shows up in a wet paper bag.
So, yeah, I remember the bags of money because Emilio brought the money. The money came from Emilio in the plastic bag that he got it out of. Mm-hmm. In the plastic bag, it wouldn't have got wet.
It'd have been fine. It was all rolled up, all neat.
Yeah, it was like he took his time to make sure this money was presentable. You know what I'm saying? Attractive. It looked better in rolls than it would in stacks. Like, I have to admit, when he pulled that money out, I was like, that money looks good. Ooh. He took his time on that. And Emilio, Crazy 8,
Next time you see that money, it's all covered in chemicals in a wet paper bag, like it was given to him by some shifty junkie somewhere or something.
The next morning, Walt wakes up butt naked on his bathroom floor, feeling disoriented as hell. His family's breakfast gets interrupted when Jesse hits him up, pretending to be some telemarketer. As soon as Walt finds a moment alone, Jesse straight up demands his help with the Crazy 8 Emilio situation, but Walt tells him he can't roll until after school. And this phone conversation is so awkward. Mm-hmm. Because there's the dramatic irony of that he's lying. He knows that he's lying, but everybody knows this motherfucker is lying. Walter, when he's lying or hiding something, he's got this voice, this cadence that he uses.
Yep, every single time. Do you think his family knows that he's lying when he's... Bro. Skylar has to, right? Every time Walter lies, he puts on like this persona, like a fake like Walter White pretending to be Walter White.
Oh, I just can't make it.
He becomes like the white people in the infomercials who just can't do anything. Right?
Yeah.
They're like fumbling paper towels or something. That's the type of person Walter White becomes.
Yeah, like a plastic person. And it's so obvious. Like, Skylar for sure knows. Maybe Junior hasn't seen him lie so much. So he might be a little bit naive to the situation, but
he definitely
Skylar is looking, especially since right after that she follows up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's suspicious of this. She's suspicious of this man. So once Walt is out the door, Skylar decides to call back the number and ends up hearing Jesse's answering machine message, which tips her off to the fact that Walt wasn't talking to no telemarketer. When Walt gets to school, he's all nervous and stuff. He mishears some student asking about the murder instead of the midterm. What I think is interesting about this scene is the lecture that he gives on chirality. He talks about chiral, meaning like identical yet opposite mirror image forms. And I was thinking about this as I'm listening to him talk about this. I'm thinking about Walter and Heisenberg. Yeah. They're identical yet opposite, like mirror images. Mm-hmm. And I didn't catch that. And it's like with this watch through, I'm like hanging on to every word that pretty much anybody says, scrutinizing it. And this lecture to me was just, before it was just another demonstration on how disengaged his students was. But now it's like he's talking about himself.
Mm-hmm. I think so too. I've always thought that the Walter White and Heisenberg It's like a persona that he always wanted to live. Heisenberg was always there. He unleashes him finally.
You think so?
Yes. He is awake.
After class, he goes straight to the chemistry supply closet and snags 2 big gallon bottles of hydrofluoric acid. And
Would not be enough to melt a person.
two wouldn't be?
I don't think so. Well, all right. So, what is it? They use hydrofluoric acid.
Yeah.
Mythbusters did an episode shortly after this episode that tested, and they used hydrofluoric acid on ceramic and a bunch of other things, but mainly like pork, simulating flesh and bone. And after 8 hours, it still hadn't broken down the organic matter. So, one, would a high school have that much hydrofluoric acid?
They had like at least 8.
Yeah. Probably not. There's no reason for a high school to have that much of a highly corrosive chemical.
Is there
like
a reason for a high school to have hydrofluoric acid at all? Like, I never remember working with any type of like corrosive
but none
acid.
of our high school science teachers were former Nobel Prize winning chemists.
I guess that's a good point. So meanwhile, Jesse starts hearing more commotion coming from the RV. While he peeks out the window, he's straight up shocked to see the RV door wide open and Crazy 8 nowhere in sight. Rolling up to Jesse's crib in a cold Pontiac Aztec, Walt peeps this dude Crazy 8 hobbling down the block looking like a whole zombie. Straight struggling in the suburban streets. And it's like, I was looking at that and I'm like, all right, they show what kind of people live in this neighborhood. It's just old white people. Mm-hmm. Somebody is looking out their window and seeing some Hispanic dude walking through the street like a zombie and calling the cops. I'm surprised that didn't happen, but it didn't. For whatever reason, it's valid. But in 2023, yeah, the cops are getting called on Crazy 8.
I mean, what? This is what, 2004?
2008.
This episode aired in 2008?
Yeah.
I think the cops probably still would have been called on Crazy 8.
It's zombies! Calling the cops. Homie does a quick 180 in the car and hollers at Crazy 8, signaling him to stop and hop in the whip like there's any chance he'll actually do that.
Right?
Crazy 8 hears Walt's voice and starts bouncing, trying to get out of there. He was freaked out. Like, he was not having it.
Would you?
No.
This man tried to murder me yesterday.
With poisonous gas.
This is some like horror movie stuff. They've kept me locked in this RV all day. Slowly.
I woke up next to my dead cousin.
Like, it's time to go. And in a puddle of corrosive chemicals at that.
Dude ain't got no luck though, because he straight up collides with a tree and knocks his own self out cold. Walt ain't wasting no time. He scoops him up, tosses him in the whip. Back at the white crib, Skylar is on the web search tip. Yeah, I know. She finds one of Jesse's social media profiles straight up filled with drug and sex references.
Hey, and also, I don't know who did this with their social media ever, but his fucking address is right there on the front page.
He doxed himself on his MySpace account.
Did anybody ever actually do that?
I didn't use social media. I didn't use MySpace, so I don't know what MySpace was like.
I guess what, at this time in the show, Jesse's supposed to be what, like 23, 24?
22, 23 maybe. I mean,
I can't imagine having my address. I don't know. It's 2008. People were way more ignorant about what was going to be on the internet. So.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, but at the same time,
trying to get hosts to hit him up. Pull up to the spot. Yo.
Let's talk about Jesse's MySpace account right quick, like as an aside. His MySpace handle is Captain Cook.
Yeah.
Like,
he's not hiding it at all.
He's not hiding it at all.
Because he had some really goofy shit on. Something like he was like in motocross school.
Yeah, like he was talking about he went to DeVry University. Yeah, like
just a bunch of bullshit.
I'm totally cool with ethnics. Throwing fake ass gang signs. The word lust randomly just somewhere. And just like drawings of weed and like drawings of chicks, like
here we go. I found it.
You found it?
Totally cool with ethnics. Blacks, Mexican, whatever. As long as you're smoking hot, yo. Yeah, I could see. I can see that from Jesse Pinkman and feeling that way.
More smoking.
Who are these bitches though?
Prostitutes.
Yeah, straight up.
Is that Wendy? Like in a wig in the middle?
Oh my God, that is Wendy!
You are now watching Life, Death, and Dopeboys.
Holy shit! It's like Wendy before she got all messed up. That's Wendy right there. Oh my goodness. You need to put the when we. I've never noticed that. That is totally Wendy, and she's like not messed out yet. This is cool samurai katana drawing that he did. He's really into MILFs. He has it written down four times.
Just in case.
DeVry University Data Systems Management and the Streets.
The streets, yo.
I bet this page was fun to make. I bet this photo shoot was fun. Look at him skateboarding. Where's the shit about him being in like... Here we go. Banging the skins with my smoking band Twat Hammer.
Oh, God.
One of his interests is European motocross. Oh, and he had planned to attend wheelie school. That's the one that I couldn't remember.
Wheelie school. What is wheelie school?
Exactly what it sounds like.
Okay.
That's what he should have done. Jesse, you should have gone to wheelie school.
Learned how to do some sick wheelies. So Walt brings the knocked out Crazy 8 back to Jesse's spot, and they take him down to the basement, securing him to a pole with a bike lock around his neck. So Walt and Jesse start beefing about what they're going to do next, and Jesse keeps asking Walt what they should do. Jesse says, you got to do something. It's like the way that he keeps talking to him. And Walt says, we.
Using the buddy system.
Buddies. But like, is it both of their responsibility? Like, he's including Jesse in the responsibility for handling the situation. But like, is this just on Walter?
I guess a line of logic could be spun that makes it both of their responsibilities. Jesse is the reason that Jesse's who introduced these people to Walt. Mm-hmm. Because it's a line of argument that only Walter would use to try to make it other people's faults. So playing devil's advocate, Jesse's the one who introduced these dudes to Walter in the first place. They would have this is all Jesse's fault. Yeah. Jesse's the one who decided to sell meth with Walter. It wasn't Walter's idea.
Yeah, Walter it could be spun.
It's just another step in the manipulation and the gaslighting of poor Jesse Pinkman.
Because Walter was the guy who Emilio recognized. It's the only reason they pulled the guns out.
Walter is the reason that they're even there. Walter is the reason that Jesse's there. Walter is the reason that any of these dudes are here. But we gotta figure this out.
First things first, they gotta get rid of Emilio's body and destroy all the evidence. Walt suggests using hydrofluoric acid to handle that business. They both agree that Crazy 8 can't be left alive, so they flip a coin to decide who's going to do the deed. Jesse wins and chooses to deal with Emilio's body, leaving Walt with the task of offing Crazy 8. Walt tells Jesse to cop a specific type of plastic bin so they can dispose of the body properly. But Jesse, getting impatient as hell, hits up a home supply store and can't find a bin big enough to fit a whole damn body in. All right, so as far as Jesse and the container is concerned, for me, I feel like, so Jesse is already freaking out.
Yeah, understandably.
And at the prospect of melting a body, I think both of them are being like really avoidant around what their tasks are.
I think it shows how dubious Walter already is. I don't know. Maybe it's just convenient that he's so knowledgeable, but the fact that he knows exactly how to get rid of this body is like, I don't know, sus to me, kind of. Maybe like the dude has thought about this before. But I guess, Probably has.
He probably has. He's been a chemist for
30 years.
30 years. Back at Jesse's crib, Walt ain't really down to kill Crazy 8, so he ends up
Makes him a sandwich.
serving him a sandwich instead.
That impulse bullshit we're talking about.
To ease his own stress, he goes back upstairs and tries rolling some joints, but he messes up like a million times. Eventually,
Not that hard, by the way.
Do you think he's done it before?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. All right, as a career cannabis user here, being like fucking 14, 15, I could figure it out with like Google. This is a 50-year-old man with...
Some of them joints, too, are fat.
Yeah,
Like, Walter, you're gonna fuck yourself up, man.
it's not hard.
Eventually, he blazes some of Jesse's weed to chill out. Jesse pulls up
Party foul.
without a bin. Yep, that's how the murder went. Walt says he'll take care of Crazy 8 tomorrow and dips to meet up with Skylar at the hospital for her sonogram.
I'll do it tomorrow. Let's just leave this captive in your basement.
Yeah, you have a prisoner in your basement. You're not gonna feed him. Jesse does not go down there.
Would you?
No.
Hell no, I'm not going down there. I'm leaving. I'm leaving the house. Fuck this.
At the hospital, Walter and Skylar find out they're having a baby girl. And when the doctor leaves the room, Skylar presses Walt about his ties with Jesse Pinkman. Still trying to keep things on the low, Walt lies and says Jesse's just his weed dealer. Fed up with her complaints, he tells her climb out of my ass.
The entire monologue goes as, look, Skylar, I just haven't quite been myself lately. I haven't been myself lately, but I love you. Nothing about that has changed, and nothing ever will. So right now, what I need for you is to climb down out of my ass. Can you do that? Will you do that for me, honey? Will you please, just once, get off my ass? You know, I'd really appreciate it.
So passive aggressive, but not.
And instead of climbing out of this man's ass like he asked so politely,
She pulls up on Jesse Pinkman. She's like, nah,
like
fuck that.
next scene. Climb out of his ass. I think he meant confront his weed dealer.
I know what you're saying, but what I think you really need me to do,
I think he's asking for help.
which, in a sense, this is his very first time expressing some frustration about his situation.
That we see.
That we
no.
see.
I think fucking the first, maybe with his wife.
Yeah.
Wipe down this! That was the first
That
time
was
we
probably
see
the
his
first, yeah. So Walt's struggling to keep his secrets on lock at work, while Jesse's handling the task of getting rid of Emilio's body from the RV. As Jesse's dragging that body across the driveway, fucking Skylar walks in through his gate like she owns the place.
She's a white woman in America.
Quick as lightning, Jesse tries to hide the body, positioning himself to block the view. Skylar straight up tells Jesse that her brother-in-law is a DEA agent and warns him to stop selling weed to her man. It's where Jesse learns about Walter's relationship to the DEA.
Jesse should have washed his hands of Mr. White.
Yeah, he has a lot of opportunities to get up out of this.
Bro, you're trying to sell meth and you are directly related to a DEA agent that I see on TV and stuff. Like,
As soon as she bounces, Jesse takes Emilio's body up to his bathroom on the second floor. He throws on a gas mask and starts to dissolve my guy in the bathtub with the hydrofluoric acid. When Walt comes back, Jesse fills him in about Skylar's visit and how he dissolved the body in the tub without needing that plastic bin. But when Walt knows that's not valid, he flips out and leads Jesse to the hallway where acidic liquid is seeping through the ceiling, eating through everything. Next thing you know, the ceiling caves in, unleashing a freaking waterfall of gory shit, hydrofluoric acid mixed with Emilio's half-dissolved remains. Walt turns to see Jesse and explains why he wanted that plastic bin. Hydrofluoric acid goes through everything except plastic.
and human flesh, apparently, according to Mythbusters.
Well, like the hydrofluoric acid, like when the remains drip through the ceiling, there are still like chunks of flesh. You know, it's
Like a
not
whole
completely
hand.
dissolved.
No.
But in the Mythbusters episode, like, is the carcass still like? Does it dissolve any of the meat? You said after 8 hours.
They don't put it in for 8 hours, I want to say, but after 8 hours, it still hadn't. It had broken down everything except for, I think, metal and the pig.
Meanwhile, out in the desert, 2 Native American kids stumble upon Walt's abandoned gas mask, and that's the ep. So season 1 is like the Walter White show. On first watch, he's framed like they frame him as highly competent, highly intelligent, and then everyone else around him, whether they're family or Jesse Pinkman, they're all obstacles to what he's trying to do. So if you kind of step into the inverse, like out of the meta, Jesse is seen as like just really stupid. Like he's making all these mistakes. He's calling Walter's house, in the morning, and he put the hydrofluoric acid in the bathtub instead of using plastic. And he's, there's like a lot of stuff that it's like, you feel like, man, Jesse is fucking this shit up.
I figure Jesse was probably dumb and lazy in high school, and then he started smoking meth, which probably didn't help with the dumb very much at all. And he has really no respect for Walter White or whatever the fuck he's talking about. He might have put chili powder in the goddamn meth. Like, he doesn't know.
Well, thank you all for tuning in to this week's episode of Life, Death, and Dopeboys. If you enjoyed listening to us, we kindly ask you to show your support by liking this episode. Yes, please share. We would also love to hear your thoughts. Please feel free to leave a comment. Remember to subscribe or follow us to stay updated on our latest content. We sincerely appreciate each and every one of you. See you next time. Rest in peace, Wes.
Thank you.